some of the yesterday's points. In Vyasa Sloka it has come action, that is Manusmriti. Action here means it is proof. Knowers of self, they know Brahman in the sense, unreality of the duality. And this has been told by logic. For that, now we are telling the proof through Vedanta text. This Vedanta text says dream, magic, and the Gandharva Nagara city in the sky are unreal. Man, devoid of discrimination, see unreal things as real. In support of Sriti Smriti also is quoted. Enlightened say universe is unreal, like a bubble in rainwater. Concluding this topic, the Gaudapada Acharya says, activities, conventional or scriptural, come under the spell of ignorance. No dissolution, no origination. So here opponent asks, how can it be when duality is absent, then there is no dissolution or origination? So how you negate? If duality is not there, then how origination and dissolution are not there? Or they belong to the existing duality or non-duality? That is the question. Existing thing can have dissolution, etc., but not a non-existing thing like a horn of hair or a son of barren woman. That he has to increase. It is contradictory to say that a thing is non-dual in nature is also subject to birth and death. You are telling a thing is non-dual, and at the same time it is subject to birth and death. Then he says, ignorance cannot cover existence. It only covers knowledge and bliss portion of the Brahman. And the function of prana, etc., are superimposed on the non-dual Brahman. And again the opponent has asked something. If on the rope the snake is created or dissolved, every rope becomes a snake, and he should see snake on every rope. And mind is inside and see the snake outside. So he says, and it is not the nature of the mind to see always illusion. It cannot be both. The illustration given, a snake on the rope. Rope cannot be the snake. If so, he has to see the snake everywhere. And mind cannot be, because mind is inside and he sees the snake outside. And mind and rope cannot be, because for different things, different support is necessary. One support cannot be. That's what he is told. For one object, no, not two supports. Then what is it? He says, the rope snake is vibration of mind, spandana. That much he says. For delusion, there is no proof. Delusion is due to ignorance. So, and yesterday we have discussed delusion is the cause of, is the effect of illusion. Illusion is superimposition, we can say, Bhranti, Maya. Page number 384. Second. Duality is not real, or the creation or dissolution are real in duality. It is all mental illusion. So, ato manovilkalpana matram dvaitamiti siddham. It is only mental delusion or illusion. Tasmat suktam dvaitasya asatvat nirodhyad abhava paramarthatha. Because the duality is unreal, there is no dissolution, there is no creation, there is no means, and there is no realization, all these things. Means and the end. Yesterday we have discussed the means is karma yoga. After cleansing the mind, one has to develop discrimination and dispassion. And he has to reduce all the oscillations. Then he is eligible to follow the Jnana Yoga. So in that way, it is told. So simply, if you say, I see mind is cleared, and why I should follow the path of knowledge, will not hold good. Because the follower of Karma Yoga is full of desires and is in the world. For the worldly people, for the man of desires, the Karma Yoga has been told. So you cleanse the mind, then increase your discrimination and dispassion, stop all the oscillations of the mind. Then he says you will get the eligibility to follow the path of knowledge. That's why from the beginning of the creation, there are two different paths. One for a man of renunciation, and the other for a man who is attached to the world. So don't get confused. Hence, duality is proved to be a mere mental illusion. Therefore, it is rightly said that when duality is unreal, the ultimate truth consists in this non-existence of dissolution and creation, etc. Then he asks another thing. Because we are seeing the duality as real, if we say so, the dissolution is because of ignorance, the delusion is because of ignorance, and for that there is no proof. Ignorance. What is the proof? Where you will get the proof? An individual says, I am ignorant, I have not experienced. So he is the proof. Who says? He is the proof. For delusion or ignorance or illusion. I am seeing a snake on the rope. So it is my delusion, my ignorance. But if you want to have a proof, pramana, because he says Sat, Asat, it cannot be defined as Sat, it cannot be defined as Asat. Sat in the Vedanta, he says a thing that is existing in the relative plane. And Asat, a thing never exists. But we see the ignorant person as well as a man of knowledge. So you cannot say it is, and at the same time you cannot say it is not there. From the standpoint of ignorant people, ignorance is there. From the standpoint of knowers of Brahman, there is no ignorance. So, anirvachaniya, undefinable. Whoever says, he is having ignorance. So it is left to the individual. Anirvachaniya, undefinable. You cannot define what is this. To this effect, there is a sloka, and I think in Vivek Chudamani. In Vivek Chudamani, there is a sloka, and he says, we cannot define it as Sat or Asat or existence or non-existence, something. Sannapya sanna ubhayat jnano, vinna udhapya jnano. Like that it goes. You cannot say it is different, and at the same time it is, you cannot say it is non-difference. Like this is it. Simply to say undefinable, the ignorance. Yedi evam. Now he says, Yedi evam. To explain the non-duality, there is no proof. Advaita. If you realize Advaita, you are in that. You are in Samadhi. So you cannot tell. And first, if you say proof, the very first proof is called pratyaksha, that which is before your eyes. For that, you should be there. And if you say pratyaksha pramana, you will be able to see the Atman. With eyes you cannot see. That's why even in Gita, he says, aprameyaha. The Atman is without any proof. Prameya is proof, aprameya no proof. Now he is asking, for non-duality there is no proof. Yedi evam dvaita bhave shastra vyaparo nadvaite virodhat. He says, if it be so, the burden of scripture should be to declare the non-existence of duality. Duality is not there. That always you are telling. Mithya, mithya, Vaitatyam. Not the existence of non-duality. Now, for non-duality, what is the proof you are having? If the river is there as separate, it cannot be one with the sea. If it becomes one with the sea, where is the river? So, in the oneness, you have to experience only, you cannot show any proof. Even the scriptures, they say neti neti. That's all. The highest teaching is neti neti, not this, not this. Only by negating. Tathacha advaitasya vastutve pramana bhavat. If it is a substance, the non-duality, there is no proof. Sunyavada prasangaha. Everywhere void will be there because there is no proof. This is the question put by the opponent. And if you say there is no proof, you are refuting the duality. Only in duality we get the proof. I am seeing, I am inferring. You have already refuted duality, and there is no proof for non-duality. See? So void. This is the opponent has asked. The non-duality is not proved. What will happen is answered. If non-duality is not proved, what will happen? Tathacha. Tathacha sati advaitasya vastutve pramana bhavat. No proof. So what will happen? Everything becomes void. Even if non-duality is not proved, the nihilism cannot be there because duality is there. Says, we are negating the duality. So, only one thing is there we are telling. But even for a realized person, for an ignorant person, world is there, duality is there. So how can you say it is all void? Who is telling about the void? He is there, he is the witness. So you cannot say everything becomes void. For the nihilism, there is no proof. The void. For that, what proof? Who is telling about the void? Who is experiencing the void? Who is telling to whom? All these questions arise. So, without knowing how you are telling, if you know you are also become void, there is no proof for non-dualism, or say it is not correct. It can be experienced, but to say that void is there is illogical. For the snake is superimposed on a rope. Rope is the base. Without any support, there is no delusion. For imagining duality, there should be some base. As the base, if we accept Advaita, so as the support, you accept non-duality. This question has been answered while explaining Omkara. How you are asking again? See, the existing Advaita has been proved in the last chapter. Again, why you are asking? How you are asking? Neti, na. Na Rajju Sarpadi Vikalpanaya Niraspadatva Anupapattihi. To see a delusion, there should be some support. This we have already told you. Pratyuktametat katham ujjivesi. We have already refuted why you are again raising that. Ityaha. But still, the opponent is asking a question. Rajjurapi sarpa vikalpasya aspadaha bhuta vikalpita eveti drishtanta anupapattihi. You say nothing is there in non-duality. So I say there is no rope also. So how you superimpose? That's why he is asking a question. Why do you reopen a matter which is already settled? This is to say, there can never be an illusion of a snake on a rope, etc., without a substratum. This too is objected to by the opponent. Thus, even the rope, regarded as the substratum of illusion, is a product of imagination, and so the analogy is not relevant. You have given the analogy that rope is seen as snake. But analogy is not correct. Why? The rope also is not there in your non-dualism. So how you get the analogy? Where from you are bringing? That is the question. So now here the opponent is the follower of void, Sunyavadi. One's own belief cannot be an illustration. Then is answered. One's own belief. What you have told? Illustration is not correct. See, one-sided illustration you cannot give. The illustration should be accepted by the opponent as well as proponent. That alone can be given as an illustration. So one's own belief cannot be an illustration. It should be common for both opponent and proponent. If the illustration is famous for both, the opponent can be answered. After removing the confusion, whatever remains as limit is true. See, in illustration, because you are confused that there is snake on the rope. And if this confusion is removed, some base is there, rope. Whatever remains as limit is true. It is seen in rope, etc. The removal of the confusion of duality is due to witness, which is not superimposed. Somebody is seeing the rope. So the seer, the witness, this is not superimposed. I am seeing the rope. So, you cannot prove the void. Witness is there. Rajjurapi sarva vikalpaspada bhuta vikalpita eviti dushtanta anupapattihi. It cannot be so, he says. Opponent says, as rope snake is, so non-duality. Now you see, how long he is going, where he is going. You say, there is no snake on the rope. I say, there is no Advaita, no duality. Non-duality is not existing because there is no proof as rope. He giving the logic. Non-duality is not existing because there is no proof. As rope, snake, whatever you call. Now, he says, the knower, the thing to be known, the process of knowing, then only a proof can be there. What is a proof? First, a knower should be there. A thing to be known should be there. The process of knowing should be there. But it is one. Nehana nasti kinchan. No triputi. Then how can you say that Advaita is existing? That's why I say void is existing, everything void. Because there is no proof for your Advaita. You cannot deny the existence of Atman. Siddhanti says, the proponent, you cannot deny the existence of the Atman. You are there. Who is telling void? You are. We say that is Atman. You cannot deny your own self. Vikalpana kshaye avikalpitasya vikalpitatvad sattva upapattehe. Now whatever is superimposed, after removing the superimposed snake, at the limit there is rope. So, avikalpitatvad sattva upapattehe. The existence is proved, he says. When the imagination ceases to be, the existence of non-duality of the self becomes possible for the very reason of its being the unimagined substratum. For the Atman, proof is not necessary. In the presence of Atman, you are imagining something through the mind. If Atman is there, if Atman is not there, mind cannot do anything. The ghost cannot do anything. It can only experience the past, bad karma. It cannot do any new karma. In that, subtle body is there. Because of the lack of gross body, it cannot do any righteous action. Even it cannot stay when the aspirants are taking the name of the Lord. Bhuta pisacha nikata nahi aave. If you chant Hanuman Chalisa, Bhoot, Pisach, they cannot come near. Because you are taking the name of the Hanuman. They cannot hear. They cannot do anything. In the same way, there the gross body is not there, that's why he cannot do any action. Here, because the Atman is not there, mind cannot do anything. what your mind is doing when you are sleeping. It is going here and there. No. But there, mind is there as well, Atman is there. Prana is working. But mind is not working. Though in the presence of Atman, in this way, he refutes the followers of logic. The followers of logic, they say, the mind gets connected with the Atman and it experiences the object. And in sleep or in dream, mind is there, Atman is there, then he should experience. Why it is not experiencing? So he says, there is no connection between the mind and the Atman. They are illusory. It is only superimposed. It is superimposed. We gave the illustration of the crystal and the red flower. The crystal is mind, red flower is Atman. If they are both together, you can see the redness of the crystal, of the flower in the crystal. In the same way, if the followers of logic, they say, there is a connection of mind and Atman to see an object. So the followers of Vedanta say it is not correct. Then all the 24 hours, the mind should have some experience. It is not having in sleep, etc. There Atman is there, mind is there. So we say it is just superimposed. If a snake is superimposed on the rope, rope cannot become the snake. If the mind is superimposed on the Atman, the mind cannot become the Atman. It just takes the light, as here in the illustration. The crystal has taken the redness of the flower, that's all. So this also you cannot say. You cannot deny the existence of Atman. Avikalpita. Ekantena avikalpitatvat. Why? Because you cannot superimpose anything on the Atman. It is not. Atman is Atman. Through mind or the mind you are superimposing on the Atman. Avikalpitatvat. This is not a snake. This is rope. Even before the false notion, snake rope is existing. Even before superimposed rope is there. Even if there is no proof, now he is asking, he is answering the opponent. Non-duality is not existing because there is no proof. So that he is answering. Even if there is no proof, the unclear part of the rope is accepted before superimposition. So always, without proof, Atman exists. Wherever you say A pot is. I am. He is. What is this is and am? Existence. So that is the existence of Atman. Beginning also we told the ignorance under any circumstances cannot cover the existence of Atman. So even if you say there is no proof, still Atman is existing. Before the illusion, rope is there, some portion of the rope. Now, another proof also is giving vikalpitascha ekantena vikalpitah tvat avikalpita rajvamsa vat prak sarvabhava vijnanat. If it is held that the substratum too is non-existent, like the rope snake, it cannot be so, because like the rope which exists as an unimagined thing even before the dawn of the knowledge of the non-existence of the snake. You have seen a snake and it is removed. But rope is there. The non-dual self exists as it has ultimately to be reckoned as non-illusory. See, the witness or the self or the non-duality, there is no illusion. Further, the existence of the agent of imagination should be admitted to be antecedent to the imagination. You are imagining with what? With the mind. So, before imagination, what is there? Atman is there. It is taking only the reflection of the Atman, and hence it is unreasonable to hold that the agent of imagination, the Atman, is unreal. That vikalpayituscha prag vikalpana utpattehe siddhatvat abhyugamat asatvanupapattihi. Rope is existing even before the illusion or delusion. Further, the existence of the agent of imagination should be admitted. Who is imagining? Somebody should be there. An inert thing cannot imagine anything. So, some consciousness should be there. Hence, it is unreasonable to hold that the agent of imagination is unreal. The Atman or non-duality is unreal. Agent is real. It is the base for imagination of duality. Now he is giving three reasons that the agent or the Atman or the non-duality is real. Atman is the base for the imagination of duality, number one. Two, it is the witness of the imagination of rope snake. Third, even it exists before imagination of illusion, it is self-luminous, independent, without any support. Three reasons he has given for the existence of the Atman. Atman is the base for the imagination of duality. These things from sub-commentary. It is the witness for imagination of rope snake. Even it exists before imagination of illusion. It is self-luminous, independent, without any support. Even if proof is not there for Atman, it is not void. The rope is there. It is an object of proof. In Advaita, even that is not there. For Atman, there is no proof that what opponent asks. The rope is also is not there. Even then, saying duality is unreal is illogical, he says. The opponent says. Because rope is not existing. So saying duality through the scriptures is unreal, is illogical. Katham punah swarupe vyapara bhave shastrasya dvaita vijnana nivartakatvam. When the scriptures do not deal with the true nature of the self, they simply say neti neti. In Brihadaranyaka, we heard that Gargi was asking, what is there, the final thing, where everything is, we are seeing. Says the space, in space we are. Then she asks, what is the support of the space? That is simple consciousness. So, apratipatti, vipratipatti. That is, not if you don't tell about the Atman, because their debate is going on. If you don't tell apratipatti, you don't know, that's why you have not answered. If you know and if you give the answer, you cannot talk of the Atman, why you have talked. You cannot tell, it is beyond the Vipratipatti. So, where you should not talk, there you have talked, that is Vipratipatti. Apratipatti, because you don't know the answer, you have not told. Then he says, this cannot be shown as holding the horn of a cow. And he says, I am not telling the answer. The knowers of the Brahman, they say about the Brahman like this, he says. Asabdam, asparsama, rupam, avyam, astulam, ananu. All the negations is going on. So the question was answered and he won the game. It is something like this here. Even if proof is not there for Atman, it is not void. You cannot tell through speech, through negation. What is unreal, you have to negate. As the support, you have to accept. For negating, some support should be there. For witness, some support should be there. For imagination, some support should be there. The rope is there. It is an object of proof. If Advaita, even that is not there, for Atman there is no proof, even then, saying duality is unreal through Shastra is illogical. Now, he is giving the answer. Naisha doshaha. Even if you say there is no proof for Atman, one who refutes proof is there. You say there is no proof. So you are refuting the proof. One who is refuting is there. That is Atman. Hmm? So, Atman is support for all imaginations. In that form, you have to accept Atman. Simply says, Atman is support for all imaginations. In that way, you have to accept Naisha doshaha. Rajvam sarpadivat vat atmani dvaitasya avidya adhyastatvat. The snake is superimposed on the rope, so the duality, because of ignorance, is superimposed on Atman. Katham, again he is asking, how? The opponent. Atman is not an object for illusion. No illusion in Atman. The seed of illusion is Atman. But it is connected with every illusion. The snake is superimposed on the rope. The rope is in no way connected with the snake. Snake is staying somewhere in its soul. How can you bring that fellow snake here? Or the silver on the mother pearl. Silver is in the shop. How can it run and come here? These things you cannot tell. But what we are doing here is we are imagining a snake on the rope. What we are doing? The non-existing imagination. Kalpita tadatmya sambandha, it says. The delusion, superimposition, and which is not having any connection with the objects, you are imagining. So, though the thing is not there, you are seeing in the same way. Though duality is not there, the ignorance is. We say duality is not there, basing on the scriptures and the logic. That is why we say, na nirodho na chotpatti. No creation, no dissolution. In that way he is proving here. The seed of illusion is Atman. It is connected with every illusion. He says how? Sukhi aham, dukhi aham, moodo aham, jato, mruto, jirno. All these delusions you see. I am the happiest person. I am the most sorrowful person. I am in distress. And I am fool number one. See, I remember an incident. I have been serving one of my teachers. Teacher in the sense, whoever gives you a good suggestion to uplift your spiritual growth is a teacher. And he was the vice president of Ramakrishna Mutt and Mission. He was serving by name one Swami Shivananda, direct disciple of. So, he told, I want to be a monk. Then Swamiji says, you are having any dependents? Yes, somebody is there. And he was the gold medalist in history and in Bangladesh, university professor. The Swamiji Sivanji told, you earn sufficient money, put in their name and you come. By the time when he came, he was 37 years old because he had to earn and keep some money for the dependents. And how much care he used to take. One day, Sivaratri was there, and Sivananji Maharaj is the second president of the Ramakrishna. First president, Swami Brahmananda. Second, Swami Sivananda. Third, Akhandananda. Fourth, Vijnananda, who has constructed the Belur temple. He is the second. Naturally, so many devotees will be there. Sivaratri day in Belur it was very hot. Many devotees were standing in queue to have the darshan of Swami Sivananji Maharaj. Suddenly, now the Kailasanji, the day he came to Swamiji, that very day he gave sannyasa to him. But he is serving Swamiji. So he just came and told, many devotees are waiting there to have your darshan. Then what Sivananji asked, today is Sivaratri, have you chanted Sivamahimana Stotra? Sivamahimana Stotra. Yesterday I was telling the musicians, the Gandharva, he wrote. He told no. Then he told, bring the book, sit here and read before me. Then Kailasanandji told, so many devotees are there. They are all waiting for your darshan. And hot sun is there. I don't care for them. I am bothered about you. You bring the book. See, taking care of the disciples. In the same way, Sivananji Maharaj used to take care of his disciples. He knows the future of everybody. What he is going to do. Sivananji Maharaj. And they used to take care of the disciples. So one day, by chance, I went and asked the Swamiji, Swamiji, are you having a Kathopanishad book? Then he is very simple, guileless. I have not read any Upanishads. That does not mean I am a fool number one. The Swamiji says, my Guru has given me everything. I am having my own progress in spiritual life. So, what Swamiji says, because I have not read Upanishads, don't think I am a fool number one. And he was made the vice president. First he was treasurer. Ramakrishna Mutt means such a big organization. If they make him the vice president or the treasurer, it is not a joke. So they know his caliber. In the same way, the ignorant person says, I am a fool number one, I don't know anything. I don't know ABC. But here the Swamiji is not ignorant, don't think in the other way. And But in other way also they think. What is the other way? They have not read any scriptures, they don't know anything. But they think they are very great. This is another way of illusion, delusion. Not possessing anything, thinking he is having everything in the world. Oh, that the proponent is describing. Somebody says, I am the happiest person, I am in distress, and I am the fool, and I have born, I am going to die. I have become very old. He says, Jirnoham. Dehavan Pashyami, I am having the body, I am seeing. Vyakta, Avyakta, Karta, Fali, Sanyukto, Vyakta. So many things he is telling. This is not, that is no evil. For like a snake on a rope, duality has been superimposed on the self, owing to ignorance. How? I am happy, I am miserable, ignorant, born, dead, age-worn, possessed of body, I see, I am manifest and unmanifest, doer, enjoyer of fruits, related and unrelated, weak and old, and these are mine. See? So many types of superimpositions. He says, Sarve Atmani Adhyaropyante. All these and similar notions are superimposed on the self. The self is conformable to all these without ever deviating from its nature. In all these expressions, self is the underlying current. Anusyuta, it is in everybody, everything. In every illusion, self is the witness. The self is conformable to all these without ever deviating from its true nature. Just as a rope retains its true nature in all its different appearances, as a snake, a water line, or a stick, whatever it may be. Self-luminous, without change, can be seen through an adjunct. Now he says, there is no proof, but mind is the adjunct. Through that he is imagining an illusion. So, when you ask, what is the support of imagination? You have to tell. You have to tell that self is the support. If I say there is no sky, there is no sky, then how you will give the proof? It is not having any form. Say, we call the space which has given place to sit for you, to sit. That place is called space. And it is the carrier of sound. It carries sound from one place to another. And we say the space of the pot, the space of the cave, like that we use. So what is there inside the cave or the pot is called space. So how you have proved? Taking the help of an adjunct, you have proved that space is there. In the same way, taking the adjunct, mind. What is the support of imagination? Mind is an inert thing. It cannot imagine by itself. So some consciousness thing should be there for its imagination, its support. So through adjunct he says, you cannot say it is void. You cannot say there is no proof. How can you prove it? Through adjunct we are seeing. That he says. Self-luminous without change, with adjunct can be seen in relative activities. So, illusion is there. Sukhi, dukhi. By this logic, the existence of the Atman is proved or is accepted. You have to accept. The opponent says there is no proof, but you have to accept. You are imagining something, you are refuting something that is in the mind. What is the support of your mind? It is an inner thing. Refutation of duality is easy when it is proved that only one reality is there as Advaita. The refutation of duality is very easy. That is why we say, na nirodho, na chotpatti, na cha sadhaka, na sadhanam, na moksha. Then he says, what is the result? If we say that Atman is existing, yada cha evam Vishesha Swarupa Pratyasya Siddhatvat Na Kartavyatvam Shastrena. In the relative plane, you have proved as the witness for the imagination that Atman is there. So now, Shastra is not going to do any action here. In no way it is concerned. Because in the relative plane, you are seeing the superimposition of a snake on the rope, and for that imagination, a base should be there as a rope. So that is the proof of Atman. You have proved. He says, in this particular connection, Shastra is not doing any action. Say, such being the case, the scripture has no role to play with regard to the self, which is self-evident. No role of the scripture, he says. Since it is the nature of the substantive substance of Atman, Padartha. Akartrikatricha Shastram Krita Anukaritve Apramanam. What you know already, if that is proved by Shastra, what is the use of Shastra? See? Krita. It is only a translation, Anuvada. Now through logic you have proved the self is there. Then, yato avidyadhyaropita sukitvad vishesha pratibandhadeva atmano swarupena anavastanam swarupavasthanam cha shreya iti. In the relative plane, there are so many ignorant persons. They are superimposing so many things, Sukhi, Dukhi, Jatavan, all these things. avidyadhyarupi sukhitvadi. He is absolute bliss, but at times he say, I am happy, and at times he says misery. These two things he is superimposing on the Atman. Oh, like that, we can say 99.9% individuals are in ignorance. So what they do? Going on superimposing. What we are doing from the morning till evening? I am doing this, I want to do that. I am going there. I. Is not a superimposition. How long you are staying within yourself? Let me know. Are you meditating on the self all through the day? No. Can you? No. Then what you are doing? Superimposing the body, we do some actions. Oh, yes, the ignorant persons.
In the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali in the Bhashya, Vyasa Maharishi says that meditation, samadhi, all of these things, they are modes of the mind. Meditation says
Moods of the
with
mind.
So, and you just heard right now, the mind is an inner thing. The mind is an upati, it's superimposed. And also, we learned in the Kena Upanishad that the speech cannot go there, the mind cannot go there, and so on. So, when we say, are you constantly meditating on the self? What will be the meaning of it?
We are constantly dealing with the combined I, ego. I am doing this, I am doing this, I am doing this. So, removing the mental oscillations, how long we are staying in our own self? Only, completely. See, even if it is savikalpa, it does not matter. I am the self. In this way also we are not meditating 24 hours. Only he says, the knowers of Brahman can alone think of the Atman all the 24 hours. Others cannot. In others, ignorance is there. So, that he is giving as an illustration. Not only this, we are having so many desires also. I want to do this, I want to do that. The nirvikalpaka samadhi, as we have calculated previously, just concentrating the mind for 28.5 minutes. Even in all the 24 hours, we are not able to do that half an hour work. But God will bless us, the Ishvara, because we are on the way.
Swamiji said in few lessons that to be able to experience the self, all the vasanas and all the samskaras in the mind had to be eradicated. Then Swamiji said that when the mind becomes pure, the mind is identical to the self.
Hmm.
So the mind at that time is like the salt oil that takes a dip in the ocean.
Hmm.
The mind dissolves. Does Swamiji say that the meaning of meditating 24 hours a day on the self is that state where the mind dissolves?
Here I mean to say, as long as we are having this body consciousness, we cannot merge ourselves 24 hours. But we can think of it. Even while doing your own work, some portion of the mind you can give to that.
Really to think on the Atman, is the Atman unreachable by the mind?
We are reading scriptures and we are reflecting on that. So, by deep reflection, whatever scripture says, that an impression forms in the mind, though it is not having form. We know many things which are not having form. Hunger and thirst, happiness and sorrow, the air outside, the space outside, so many things. In day to day, we are experiencing. Why not the formless Atman? For that, he always says, take the support of the scriptures. Hear again and again, and reflect on them. And then mind automatically takes a particular impression. Meditate on that. Or you negate from yourself everything. If you are not able to do, then you say, you take the support of the deity with a form. When you realize that I am not different from that, then he will lead you to knowledge. Dadami buddhiyogam tam yena mamupayantite.
On the same point, is the meaning of it during the 24 hours of the day to constantly practice Shravana, Manana, Nidhyasana, or is the meaning of it during 24 hours of the day to do Manana? What is the meaning?
Actually, the Shastras say, Sanyasya Shravanam Kuryat. And you should not give even a portion of second to think of other things. Asupter amrute kalam nayed vedanta chinte. If you are not able to do, then give your hands to the work and give the mind to the thinking of Atman. So with some portion, say 1/8 or 1/16 portion of the mind, you can again do all the works. So if you practice, Ma manuspara yuddhacha. See, the enemy is there standing. And Sri Krishna says, you fight with the enemy, at the same time you remember me. Why you should say? It is possible. So, if you are not able to do all the, say, waking state, to read the scriptures and to meditate on them. Mentally, you remember. Manana. Manana. And that if you are not able to do, take a form.
In the Bhagavad Gita, Swamiji, Lord Krishna tells Arjuna that when he speaks about meditation, he tells Arjuna that describing the method of meditation, tells Arjuna that whenever
Mind goes out.
mind goes away, swerves away, return it to the Atman, return it to the self. Now, this statement, returning to the self, how should it be understood?
And the?
This
No.
statement, returning
Ah.
to the self,
Ah.
how should it be understood?
Two methods are there. Taking the support of the scriptures, only one Atman is existing everywhere. So, if you are able to see with your mind that whatever I am seeing, wherever mind is going, there I am seeing the Atman, consciousness. If not so, think that the Lord or the consciousness is within me, and you have to casual the mind, that is unreal. So don't go there. You come back and think what you are thinking. It depends on the individual aspirant, whether he is seeing the oneness while meditating, or whether he is seeing the duality. If duality is there, the duality is unreal. So come back. You have to casual the mind. So there, especially because he is taking the aspirants that who are in the relative world. So, for them, you cannot completely say that everything is Atman, you meditate on that. Even to Arjuna, he says, he did so many austerities with Narayana as Nara. But even in this life, he says, you are not eligible for knowledge. That means still you are having some desires, still your mind is not pure. So you follow the Karma Yoga, Ma Manuspara Yudhyacha. So the remembrance, you can force the mind also in that way while meditating, that my chosen deity is everywhere. Wherever mind goes, I am seeing my chosen deity. Or, as the saints say, Angustra Matra Purusho Antaratma, the space is there, in that 12-petal lotus is there, on that my deity with a cheerful face and with blessings is sitting there, like that you can meditate. So bring back, whichever is convenient for you.
In the Upanishad, they mention the self which is the size of a thumb.
Ah.
And it describes it as a flame.
Mm.
So this also tells.
That those who want to meditate on the formless, they think this is self-effulgent. The thumb is according to one's own size. The space is there. In that Atman is there. In that mind is there. So, in my previous topics, I gave the illustration. When a pit is there, in that space is there. In that, rainwater has come. And in this, the outside space is again reflecting. So only one Atman. Mind is also there and it is reflecting. So we said the Ganesha, he lost his head, but he has not lost his memory or intelligence or mind. Where it is? Not here yet. So, most of the saints, they say better to meditate in the heart than in Sahasrara or in Brur, Madhya, Agnya, Chakra. That is, you feel the coolness. Here, you get seated up, he says. The mind gets seated up. So better.
Nirguna or Saguna, whatever. Still on the same point, Swamiji.
Mm.
Swami Shivananda says that generally speaking, there are two ways of meditation. One is Saguna, one is Nirguna. He recommends, this is the recommendation of Swami Shivananda, first of all, to practice Saguna meditation for most of the people. And only later, Nirguna. That's what he says. So, for example of Saguna meditation, for example, is to meditate on the chosen deity in the heart. Example of Nirguna meditation is like meditation on the
Flame or fire.
Pushta, or meditation on the mantra Om. He also gives it to Nirguna. And to attach to this meditation on the mantra Om different attributes which are like infinity, all pervasiveness and so on. So he described this. But the great Sri Ramana Maharshi, when he came, he spoke about Atma Vichara. And he gave a particular method of meditation. But it is my understanding that when we speak about Atma Vichara in the Upanishads, it is related to the negation of the Upadis. And we are, in relation to us, the Upadis are the Anamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha. So they need to be negated. So it is my understanding that somehow, in the Upanishad, when we speak about Atma Vichara, we are talking about the method of neti-neti. But it is, I'm trying to understand, because it is, many people heard about it. How is the method that Ramana Maharshi gave, how is it related to the Upanishads?
He says that you are the seer. Whatever is seen is not real. So meditate on the seer. And as long as we are having the body consciousness or some desires or the ego, lust and anger, attachment and malice, these things, we better to meditate on the Brahman with form. Kleshodhika tarastesham avyakta sakta chetasam. Avyakta hai gatir dukkham dehavadbhir apyate. So those who are having the body consciousness, for them it is very difficult to meditate on Nirguna Brahman. So better. The Shankaracharya also says same thing. He wanted to cross a river and he is sitting on a crocodile. How he can cross? What is the crocodile? The consciousness of the body or the ego. With these things you cannot cross, he says. So start something, do something. Everything, the answers will be coming from inside. All the answers will be coming from inside.
What Sadhguruji Swami Shivananji says is more sadhaka friendly. Saguna Brahma meditation and Nirguna Brahma. According to the advancement of the system.
The role of scripture is to enlighten what is not already known. See, when you have proved the Atman through logic as the witness, or for the imagination of superimposition, there the scriptures are not having any role. Then what is the role of the scripture? What you don't know, that it says. Shastram Atmani Atmaswarupavad Asukitvadyapi Sukitvadi Bedeshu Na Anurutto Asti Dharmaha. Since on account of the obstacles such as attributes, happiness, etc., the self is not realized in its own nature. So many things will. And since its realization in its true nature constitutes the supreme goal, the scripture serves the purpose of removing the action, removing the notion of happiness, etc. So, what you imagine through the mind, what you have superimposed on the self through the mind, the scripture says it is not correct. Its realization in its true nature constitutes the supreme goal. What is the nature of the husband? That you have to realize. The scripture serves the purpose of removing the notions of happiness, etc. So, the doer, the enjoyer, everything is superimposed. That associated with the self, by including with regard to it, the idea of not being happy, etc., through such teachings, not this, not grass, the Brudanka, Astula Mananu, Aswam. Unlike the unique nature of the self, the attributes of unhappiness, etc., are not always present in consciousness, along with the attributes such as happiness, etc. The both cannot stay, the both types of imaginations cannot stay in one time. Had they been present, the superimposition of the attributes, etc., is not possible. Both exist at a time. Just as there could be no coldness in fire, which possesses the specific characteristic of heat, therefore, it is in the self without attributes that attributes such as happiness are imagined. No attributes. It is proved that the scriptural instructions pointing the self and not being happy, etc., are meant only to remove the specific notion of happiness, etc. Here is the supporting aphorism of those who are well versed in the scripture. Validity of the scripture is to establish by its negation of the positive attributes of the self. Whatever attributes you have given to the self, that the validity of the scripture is to establish by its negation.
Will this include also the three characteristics of Satchit and Ananda?
This one.
The validity of the scripture says here, the validity of the scripture is established by its negation of positive attributes of the self. Now, positive attributes of the self will also be Satchit and Ananda.
But they are attributes, and just to negate that it is not bliss, it is not matter, it is existing. To negate it is not existing, existence is given, attribute. To think it is not an ignorant thing, knowledge is given. It is not misery, so bliss is given. These things are also attributed to the Atman. But if you want to meditate on the positive attributes, you can. But he says neti neti, no attribute. As soon as you give some attribute, it is, say, it is limited. It becomes limited. Blue lotus is limiting other lotuses. Red, yellow, white lotus, we are not taking. So, only to understand these attributes are given, but meditating on these attributes is not bad. But they are attributes. This point is cleared in Aitri Upanishad, the introduction of. In the introduction, he says, when you say Sadeva Soma Itamagra Asit, Ekameva Dvitiyam, then how you have given these attributes, Sachidananda? And he says the ignorant people think that it is not existing. From their standpoint, these things are given, but these are attributes superimposed. Lakshana, Swarupa Lakshana, indicated meaning. What it indicates? It indicates the self. That means to indicate these attributes are given. The indicated thing will be something else. So, something, somehow or other, we have to evacuate the mind and it should get settled in the Atman. For that, whichever method is easy for us, we can take. But these are attributes. That what Aitreya Bhashya says. Two types of indications are there. Tatastha Lakshana and Swarupa Lakshana. That is Swarupa Lakshana, Sachidananda. And this Janmadhyasya is indicated meaning, that is Tatastha Lakshana. Where from the creation, sustenance and resolutions are there, that is Brahma. Where the crow is sitting, that is the house of X. Crow is not going to be there all through the day, but it has indicated the house of whom you are asking. So it is Tatastha Lakshana indicating the Brahman.
So, for example, this appears in the Taittiriya Upanishad and also is the second sutra in the
Brahma
first
Sutra.
chapter of Brahma Sutra, that out of which creation emerges, in which it exists, in which it submerges. This would be an example of Tataksha Lakshana.
Tatastha Lakshana, yes.
Because it indicates a guna Brahma.
Cause is there, but afterwards he will be telling no cause, no effect. Because there the opponent asks, see, somebody sees a snake on the rope, somebody sees a stick on the rope, somebody sees a garland on the rope. So also, here In some Upanishads, regarding the creation, they say something, Atmana Akasha Sambhuta Akashad Vayu Vayu Agni Rapa, etc. And in some other Upanishads, he directly says the fire was produced from the Atman, then water in Chandogya. Tejo Abhakshala, Tejo Anna Lakshana, Anna is earth, Ab is water, Teja is fire. And in Mundaka, etc., as if we throw at a time a handful of fruits, small fruits. So the creation has started, they say. And in some other Upanishads, the subtle elements come first and the gross elements afterwards. When you say the scripture is real, we say the scripture is not real because it is talking in a different ways. Then the answer is given. You see, we are not worried about the effect. We want to prove only one cause is there. That is Brahman. Taking the support of Maya, it is creating, otherwise it is not creating. Sadeva somidam agrase. Atmana akasha sambhutaha. Ekameva dvitiyam. You see any scripture, there is no refutation regarding the cause. We say effect is unreal, duality. So, why you take the relative plane to the absolute? That it comes in Brahma Sutras. Region of duality, there may be another cause besides the knowledge. Is a Sukhitvadi Nivartakam. But the proponent says these are superimposed, they happen, they have to be removed. The sorrow, etc., are natural. If you don't accept the one reality, you are accepting the duality. In duality, only sorrow is there. Ditiyadvai bhayam bhavati. Ditiyadvai bhayam bhavati. Very rich man is there, say in America. And he thinks, I am the richest person. But suddenly he came to know another fellow is there in America, he is having more wealth than me, so he could not get sleep. The comparison. In the same way, here you see, when duality is there, sorrow is there. Somebody is there besides me, he is more wealthy. So whole day could not sleep. How to become more wealthy? Duality. What I mean to say is, duality. Our Swamiji says, and his Swamiji also says, Tattvamasi Ashram, the in charge. People, the individuals are not worried about what they are having. They get more sorrow when see others are having more wealth or they are progressing more. Seeing others, they are unhappy. He says. So, in duality, sorrow is there. In duality, sorrow is there. It may be very subtle. It may be very subtle in the sense, an aspirant can very easily get over the lust and anger by constant practice. But as Swamiji told, the hankering for name and fame. I am great. I am meditating more.
Spiritual ego.
Spiritual ego. That is hankering for name and this is more subtle. And the roots are so deep. Even if somebody says a word against you, you are disturbed. A word against you,
Against. Against.
uh, against you, you are.
In this relation, I think,
Uh,
because Swami Paramananda mentioned this word spiritual ego.
As you said.
Yes,
uh,
yes.
uh,
Here we use the word spiritual,
uh,
but maybe a better word would be subtle.
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 Subtle
Because
ego.
the more subtle the ego is, according to what Swamiji told the other day,
Uh,
the more pervasive it is.
uh,
So something gross is less pervasive.
uh,
Something more subtle is more pervasive. So the meaning may be that the more spiritual the ego is, the more subtle the ego is, it is also more pervasive, means it can affect,
more.
like the red chili.
Uh-uh.
Red chili. I can eat the chili, feel it myself, but not that. But if I put in fire, it becomes subtle. Maybe spiritual ego is like this. Maybe because of it, it's more dangerous.
Dangerous. So, even Swami Shivanji says, you should remove this egoism. So, surrender, take refuge. And Sri Ramakrishna says, let this rascal ego be the servant of others. He says, rascal ego. He scolds. What? Scolding. Damn ego. Let it be servant for others. If you want to keep, if you are able to remove it. Otherwise, let it be the servant for others. It is more, because it is more certain. So the sorrow, etc., are removed by knowledge of scripture. The removal by Shastra is subsidiary meaning. We know it so to say, I have not experienced Atman. Is not correct, he says. The subsidiary meaning. In illusion, the mother pearl, the idamamsa, is natural, but because of the mistake, he sees silver. But the silver is not there. Like that, because of unthinkable power of ignorance, he says, unthinkable power of mama maya duratya. Through self is there sukhitvadi. That is all illusory. I am happy, I am enjoying bliss. All these are, he simply says, this unimaginable power of ignorance. And they are natural for an ignorant person. So he says, Yadi anuvruttah. If it is not possible to negate the illusion of the mind, he says Yadi. Since its realization in its true nature consists of supreme goal, and you have to negate them. Not this, through the teachings of scriptures. Tasmat nirvishesha evatman sukhitvadayo vishesha kalpitaha. The Atman is not having any attributes, no attributes. So all these things what he told, happiness, sorrow, ignorance, creation, nanirodho, nacho, everything is just imagined, attributed to it. But it is attributeless, the Atma. Now the question, the opponent is asking, sorrow, etc. are not imaginary things. Yes. The answer, he says, it is not so. Yastu asukhitvadi shastram atmanah tatsukhitvadi vishesha nivrutyatvam evaiti siddham. In Yoga Sutra also it comes, if you are having malice towards somebody, you show kindness to them. By that only you can. If you are having sorrow, you take the opposite thing, happiness. You superimpose. In the same way, here he says that the scriptural instruction pointing the self is not being happy, etc., are meant only to remove the specific notion of happiness, etc., or unhappiness, etc. The specific nature of the scriptures. Astulam, and so many things are here. In other scriptures, it is not gross, it is not subtle, all these things. There is no words, or all these things are told for the are neti neti, or it is not gross, it is not subtle, it is not long, it is not short, all these things he gives. He has taken from the Shastras, he says, all these words. And one particular Acharya is there in the south, is called Dravidacharya. Dravidacharya. Dravida means south. Dravidacharya. His name is Dravidacharya. To support his words, also we are telling something, he says. For the explanations, he gives the support of Dravidacharya. Siddham. Siddham tu nivartakatvat iti agamavidam. Who is the agamavida? One who knows the scriptures, that is Dravidacharya. His words also we are taking as support. Siddham tu nivartakatvat. The validity of the scripture is established by its negation of positive attributes, he says. First he told, what we have proved through logic, for that validity of scripture is not necessary. Then where is the validity of the scripture? What is the proof? The validity of scripture is established by its negation of positive attributes of the self. I am happy, I am miserable, all these things. And in Brahman there are no parts, but in the beginning he told there are 4 parts, one Atman. But the scripture is the proof for you. There are no parts. And scripture says parts are there. And scripture is the proof. Now what are you going to do? With the negation, removes the non-existing things like grass, subtle and causal. See, that's why adhyaropa apavadabhyam nishprapancham prapanchate. First it superimposes. The first three parts are superimposed on the fourth. And afterwards he says only fourth is there, the three are not there. So to remove the superimposition, and it is nature of the duality, to think parts where there are no parts. That is the nature of the duality, to superimpose something on something. Atasmin tad buddhi. Smriti rupaha parastra purvadushtava bhasaha. He says. That is, the superimposition is defined in the form of remembrance, and something we superimpose on something. Or atasmin tad buddhi. What is not there, that we superimpose. So the result is, whatever is superimposed is to be removed. For that, the parts have been told. Like this, the validity of scriptures are there. It says, what is the result? What is the validity of the scriptures? Whatever is superimposed, remove. Then what is there as the limit, as the support, that is your own self, that is Brahman.